Hey, welcome back to Coffee Chat. In today's episode, we are talking with Dr. Victoria Rader. Dr. Victoria Rader is a transformational speaker, best-selling author, and founder of You2 Shine. She's helped thousands to create a life of limitless possibilities, making both inner peace and practical prosperity possible through unique power of innovative spiritual practices and products. I am so excited to welcome to the show Dr. Victoria Rader. Stay tuned. Hi, Victoria. How are you?
Hey, Jen, thanks for having me.
I'm so excited that you're here. For those of you who don't know Victoria, Victoria, could you introduce yourself?
Yes, so I'm Victoria Rader, and I'm originally from Ukraine. I've lived in US for over 20 years though, so this is home. I grew up in a country where there was no business or money concept, so I came here with big ambitions and no skills. Put my family in great debt, traveling and homeschooling kids, had to find a way out. As a result, kind of became top 1% real estate
Mm.
agent. And then
Oh,
because I
wow.
was asked to coach so many people on success principles, I started doing business success coaching and then ran
Mm.
into a problem that you can only perform at a level of your subconscious programming. So went and got a
Yeah,
PhD in metaphysical sciences and now work with subconscious reprogramming.
that's amazing. That's so neat. You are my cup of tea right now. I just finished doing neuro linguistics programming training.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. It's
and
one
I'm
of the
doing
many phenomenal modalities. Yeah.
yeah, and I'm doing fundamentals of neuroscience, and then I'm doing cognitive behavioral therapy. So this is like such a treat to get to talk to you.
It's all aligned, isn't it? That's one of those beautiful, the law of
Oh,
synchronicity. It's all aligned. Once you
oh,
get on the frequency, you attract people that are on
yeah.
that frequency. So,
Well, it's such an interesting thing, and I'm so glad we're talking about this because I keep saying that if they taught in school, like at a grade school or a high school level, how the brain works and functions, I feel like it would help so many individuals succeed. Like even like specific learning techniques of memorization, because if you have a kinesthetic or an auditory learner and they need to pull from their visual memory, right, in order to learn something, and they're not able to do that, teaching them those things, right? So I feel like this is such a good topic to be touching on today is brain sciences and talking to you, and even the EFT stuff. I know you
yeah.
do EFT, which is such a cool technique for so many different things. For those of you who don't know what EFT is, I'm going to let Victoria explain it more in depth because she can probably
Yeah.
do a better job than I can.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to just with one sentence to what you said
Yeah,
because it was so gold, you
yeah,
know. I
mm,
think our schools are educating
mm,
7% of our brain, which
mm,
is the conscious programming, leaving out the 93% of the brain, which is subconscious untouched. You know, and going back
yeah,
to Aristotle, he said educating the brain without educating the heart is no education at all. So early on, they
mm,
figured out that you had
yeah,
to educate the subconscious emotional self, and that's where EFT comes
mm,
in. It's the emotional freedom
mm,
techniques. I'm one of those
yeah,
people that forget the S at the end. It's techniques because there's so many of them. And it's
yeah,
just a way to release the blockages
mm,
from the deep subconscious and
mm,
then to fill them in with better programming. So, for example,
mm,
lot of us carry stress. And I
mm,
don't know of a better technique to release stress than EFT. So if you guys are
yeah,
listening and you're feeling stress,
mm,
EFT is your best buddy. 60
mm,
seconds and the cortisol goes down by
mm,
6%.
yeah.
Amazing.
And it
Yeah.
stems along the same lines as like acupressure or acupuncture, right? You're touching on those specific
So
points.
it's a combination of cognitive therapy and acupuncture,
Mm,
just like you said. Cognitive therapy
mm,
allows for you to focus on what really bugs you. So instead of the positive therapy, you're saying, I
mm,
suck. But when you say, I suck,
mm,
you tap on the pressure points that
mm,
release that program from your
mm,
psyche. So you're going to go, I'm stressed, my life sucks. And, and then you just tap
mm,
and it goes out.
mm,
Whenever you do tapping, you got to have your feet on the ground because we are an
mm,
electromagnetic field and you want to
yeah.
ground the emotion. When people come and say,
Mm,
I've tried EFT before it didn't work, my first question is, were your feet on the
mm,
ground? I mean,
yeah.
it's for real. It's for real. We're all electric beings. So it's called
Yeah.
echocardiogram. I mean, it's electrical reading of the heart. So, yeah.
Yes. No, I completely understand that. I always like thought we were bioelectric magnetic beings, and I learned that 2 years ago. Like I always knew that we had electricity and stuff, but I never thought of it as we are a bioelectric magnetic beings.
Yeah.
Our brains are like a computer that needs, and we can reprogram them, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
Um, so
absolutely. I love that analogy, Jen. I love it.
yeah. And if we think about it like that, then if there's something going on in our life, then we just have to rewrite the programming, and we have to find a technique that works for us to rewrite the programming, which is where people like you come in.
Yeah, pretty much, pretty much. And what I do also is that I actually help people identify those programs because I think the things that
Mm,
harm us the most, we hide the best. You know? And so
yeah.
I kind of scan clients and say, hey, did you know that you carry that?
Mm,
Unconsciously, they'll be like, no. But I'll say, yeah, because it's on your genetic line. Let's look 3 generations
mm,
back. What was happening? Oh my gosh, it makes
yeah.
perfect sense. So we store them on different levels. This
Yeah.
life being only one of them.
Yeah. I've heard of that. What's the specific term for that? Because I remember hearing about that it moves from generation to generation, that we bring it forward with us.
So there are a lot of, there are a lot of different ways to describe it. I
Yeah.
choose to practice for generational programming, the technique called data
Okay.
healing, because you work with the
Yeah.
brain in a theta brainwave and you access
Mm,
genetic programming. Like people don't freak out that our eyes are brown or green because
yeah.
that's genetic. Well, so are our shock patterns, stress
Mm,
patterns, thought patterns, and success patterns. All of
yeah.
it, right?
Yeah.
So
That's really interesting. And I've heard too that it's not just our brain that takes in the memories and stuff, it's our entire cells throughout our entire body, because somebody can have like a heart transplant and then all of a sudden start having the memories of the person that they got the heart transplant from. So it's our
yeah.
entire body that's taking it in, which is really
You
interesting. I
know,
didn't know that either. Yeah.
That's fascinating and true. And one thing that, and this is not to step on anybody's toes in any way, but a lot of people believe in reincarnation of multiple lives. Some people don't.
Yeah.
To me, it's highly irrelevant, really. What's
Mm,
relevant is that we
mm,
are combined from molecules that have always been.
mm,
And we now know that the frequency of the memory is imprinted on the
mm.
subatomic level.
Okay.
So you've always been you consist of these
Mm,
particles that have
mm,
always been. Always is a very long time, not to
mm.
pick up program or two or a memory of a past life or two. So I always
Yeah.
say it doesn't matter whether you believe you lived it, your spirit lived it,
Mm,
your body lived it, the
mm.
particles of you have been around forever. So that's to
Yeah.
me a fascinating concept. And a lot of the programs we carry come from that. For
Mm,
example, one of the funniest things with people that are chronically ill, their higher
mm,
self, their spirit, their spiritual essence has a program.
mm.
Physical healing is irrelevant because to
Yeah.
that part of them, it is irrelevant. And unless you change that, they
Mm,
continue in chronic disease. It's fascinating.
mm. That is really fascinating. So, how do you go? Like, I'm sure people are wondering, okay, so here's all this information. How does one go about even knowing that they need this type of help, right? You know what I
If your
mean?
life is not a life of your
Mm,
dreams, you
mm,
need this help. We all, we can all do better. That's true.
mm,
But the difference is if you're feeling a block and you've tried
mm,
everything else, it's simply
mm.
because it's inaccessible to you at this time. For example,
Yeah.
right after our interview, I'm doing a program for my Quantum Freedom group on business. And one of the, give a gift to your little audience here, one of the programs I'll be
Mm,
changing for them subconsciously is that business does not
mm,
equal busyness, and
mm.
removing completely from people's vocabulary, I am
Yeah.
busy or my day is
Yeah.
busy, and replacing
Mm,
it with my day is full. Because then you can
yeah.
say my day is full of joy, of
Yeah.
opportunity, of growth.
Yeah.
Little adjustment, but all of a sudden the
Mm.
business stress goes down significantly. So, yeah.
Yeah, I love that you just said that. I just hit my mic. I hope that didn't pop. I love that you just said that, because there's two phrases that I always hear as an entrepreneur, and one is entrepreneurs are the only people that go to work for themselves, so that they can work 80 hours a week instead of 40 for someone else, right?
No, no.
Like that's a major one that I constantly hear people saying. And now that I've said that, I forgot the other one. But the fact that you just said that, like, it's so true, right? And
Mhm.
the other one is we speak and think our lives into existence. So the words you're saying, your brain's trying to put that into your reality.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, for those that don't know, I keep seeing different data on this, but your brain is capable of pulling in, I believe it's 20,000 bits of data per second, but it can only
So
process 134. Is that my
So
understanding?
yeah, this is the subconscious mind processes 40 million bits of data per
Right.
second. 40 million.
Mm.
And the
Yeah.
conscious is stuck at 4,000. So that's big discrepancy.
Yeah. So we're matching basically our reality up to our belief systems, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like
I
our
call it,
compressed zip file of life.
I say you got to move your RAS,
Yeah.
RAS, which is your reticular
Yeah.
activating system, and then
Yeah.
move your ass. You got to act on moving, having moved your reticular activating system, because there are a lot of meditating gurus that are still
Yeah. Yeah.
manifesting, money in full starvation. You got to get off the
Yeah.
pillow. You've
Yeah.
manifested, you've meditated, now you got to get off the pillow. So,
So I just wanted to touch on those because you said business doesn't equal busyness, and that's us and our vocabulary, and we're speaking and thinking our lives into existence. If we're constantly thinking and saying to ourselves that we're busy, therefore we're in business,
mhm,
then that's what our brain's going to put into our reality. So I love that you said that. So that's why I wanted to touch on it.
I'm glad.
But moving your ass is another good point. Uh, that's one thing I don't have an issue with. I have an issue with not doing things, right? I have to sometimes okay, Jen, scale back here. Should we actually be doing this?
Jen,
It's
and this is so
yeah,
phenomenal because the second part of what it's funny, everything is aligned, right? So the
mm,
second part of what I'm actually
yeah,
doing today is
yeah,
teaching the difference between the business of your life and the business of your
yeah,
business. Because for a lot of
mm,
us who are entrepreneurs,
yeah.
our life has become the business has become our life. So we're going to be
Okay.
doing the shift through that
Mm,
the business of your life is
mm,
to discover and to fully and joyfully live your divine purpose. That is the business of
yeah,
your life. And the business of your business is to
mm,
support your life. And it seems
yeah,
like obvious, but if the brain is programmed that my life is my business, meaning,
mm,
yes, your life does have a business to rediscover your
yeah,
purpose. But if that clarity is missing, then all of a
yeah,
sudden you feel if you're not doing business, you are not alive. And that's a
yeah,
scary proposition. So then, and I see a lot of people saying, "Oh, you just don't love." If you need to have a life business balance, it's because you don't love your business enough. That's a low frequency belief, and it's a
yeah,
survival belief that allows for those
yeah,
people to justify the fact that they're addicted to business. But it's a low frequency belief.
yeah. I totally get that because um, it's hard to stop working sometimes when you work for yourself, right? You get addicted to the I gotta do this, I gotta do this, I gotta do this, and then you gotta pull yourself back and be like, okay, I need to start outsourcing, so I'm not just doing my work, right? Because otherwise, you have no life. And as a mom of five, I'd like to have a life,
Mama
right?
five? No way. Did you say
Yes,
Mama five?
I did. Yeah,
Oh, it's so amazing. That's what we should be
yeah,
talking about.
yeah. My oldest is 17, and my youngest is 5. Yeah.
Oh, you're amazing. That is the
Yeah,
most important thing, I think. I have two, they're grown,
yeah,
they left home, and that's the
yeah,
most joyful thing for me. So,
yeah. That's amazing. I love that. Yeah. So, what you were saying is my goal this year is to set up my business so that a lot of it's running on automation so that I have more time for my life business,
mhm,
right?
mhm.
Because otherwise, all I'm doing is working. And what's the fun in that? You're missing out on so much. So, yeah.
All I have to say is, there's a great book that came out years ago. It was called The Top
Mm.
5 Regrets of the Dying. And it was written
Yeah.
by an Australian nurse. And none of the
Mm.
regrets was, I wish I
Mm.
accomplished more in my
Right.
business. None of them,
Yeah.
so none of them. And that's
Yeah.
and that's a wake-up call, I think, for all of us. So,
Yeah, for sure. We don't want to get to the rocking chair and be like, oh, I regret doing this. We want to get to the rocking chair going, I'm glad I did this, right? So
mhm.
I
Yeah.
think Zig Ziglar said something similar to that, like a quote. So you have programs. I know people are probably wondering, okay, well, how can I work with you?
Yeah, so at this point, good news for me, but all my individual annual coaching usually sells out within the 12 hours we put it out. I do very few
Okay.
emergency sessions, but I do have a phenomenal program that's called Quantum Freedom. That
Okay.
program I was guided to create and take online 3 months before
Mm.
COVID hit. So for
Okay.
that, I'll be forever grateful. So,
Yes, for
and
sure.
it's a program that has phenomenal programs within itself that are life, big
Mm.
audience live programs that are later recorded, and they
Mm.
are aspected into every part of one's life. I have a
Okay.
Radiant Buddy series, which is 7 amazing programs about finding the inner radiance while releasing the unnecessary weight. I tell people
Yeah.
finding the true light. Finding the true light. That's what it's
Mm.
all about, because weight just
That's
hides
awesome.
the hidden light. And then I
Yeah.
have money programs. You name it, we
Mm.
have it. We have over 300 hours. The program is on
Mm.
sale right now, and it is an
Okay.
affiliate program. So anybody who's a member can sell the
Mm.
program and get 30% of the cost as a
Okay.
bonus. So that's how it's created. And the whole
Mm.
purpose for that program is to free us to live a life of our dreams.
Mm.
That's what I breathe. That's my bread and butter.
That's amazing. So, for those wondering, is there any type of person that this is not for, or is this like for everyone? I like to ask this question because sometimes, you're looking for like a specific audience, right?
Yeah. Yes, nothing is for everyone. That is for
Mm.
sure. So I can
Mm.
tell you that there are people that want to grow, and there are
Mm.
people that want to use something as an excuse to say that they've tried everything. Those are not my
Yeah.
people. If somebody says, and that's a subconscious programming when you just need to
Mm.
justify your failure because you're in such panic to succeed.
Mm.
And so
Mm.
that would be the only person. But anybody who wants to grow in a very
Mm.
fast way, I personally am a queen of shortcuts. If there is a
Yeah.
most efficient way to do something, I'm going to seek it, find it, improve it, keep seeking, finding, and improving it. So the whole
Mm.
program is designed for you to come in anywhere
Mm.
from physical healing to money
Mm.
healing to business healing to expanding your consciousness and say, I don't know,
Mm.
like the business hour, I have a couple of them that are audience driven. I'll have people that come and will say, I feel the block, I don't know what it is. That's where I
Mm.
get to scan them, shift the
Mm.
block, and offer it to the whole audience.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you're somebody who knows you need something, might not know what it is, that would
Mm.
be a phenomenal gift for you. And even if you're
Mm.
somebody who knows what the problem is but doesn't know how to change it, that's an amazing gift also. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so true because sometimes like you can almost like feel it in your chest, like you got something
Yes.
here and you feel like doing like one of these, like leave me alone, but then you can't
Yes.
get past it, right? And that's that block right there. It's blocking you from doing what you need to be doing. And that's so
Mhm.
great to have a program like this because there's not really a lot of programs like this, right? You see
I'm
like
unaware that there are any.
mm,
I can honestly tell you,
mm,
I'm unaware that there
mm,
are any. I'm training a
yeah,
couple of my coaches to start expanding into that. But
yeah,
I love it. Can I say it again? I
yeah.
just love it.
I'm so grateful for that. Uh, yeah, like I said, the only other program I have seen that would be kind of similar would be Jim Fortin's, and he does NLP training combined with some
Yeah,
shamanism, and that's about it, right? But there's nothing
yeah.
like specifically like this. So if you're looking for a program like this, as far as I've seen, Victoria's like the only one who offers something like this. So you're one of a kind,
Little Travolta here.
right? So, for those at home, I like to give them like a tangible tip that they could take away from each coffee chat. Is there something that they could start doing at home on their own before they start
Yes,
working with you? Mm.
yes. My favorite go-to phrase is notice what you notice, because what you
Oh,
notice is what you create.
okay.
So, all healing, all transformation starts with awareness. In order to
Mm.
be aware, you've got to be able to forgive yourself. So, the very
Okay.
first step, and it's a very practical step, if there is
Mm.
something that you're holding so deep that you can't forgive yourself, write a letter to yourself from yourself asking for your forgiveness, and then
Mm.
write another one granting it. Lack of
Mm.
forgiveness prevents us from accepting ourselves with all the
Mm.
faulty parts of who we are, prevents us from being aware of what we notice. So once you've done that forgiveness, which is very important, and on my
Mm.
YouTube, I have a ton of free forgiveness stuff, but
Yeah.
however you do it, forgive yourself so you can accept the ugly
Mm.
parts of you. I call them the scared parts of you,
Yeah.
and they're very important, right? The scared part of you is
Mhm.
there to walk you to the sacred part of you. I had a client who said, I'm so terrified, I'm not committed. And I said, of
Yeah.
course you are. You're just committed to your scared self. We have a free meditation to on my site to walk you from scared to sacred. Do that. Walk
Mm.
yourself from scared to sacred. Once you're
Mm.
there, start noticing what you notice. When you see somebody
Mm.
having a new car, what are your first thoughts? Are you
Oh
so
wow.
happy for them that you're just like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy for them? Because if you
Yeah.
are, you're going to have a new car. But if you
Mm.
look and say, oh my gosh, I'll never have a new car, how could they
Yeah.
afford it? That's
Yeah.
what you're creating. That's what
Yeah.
you're creating. Notice what you notice. You see, if you're a woman,
Mm.
you see a beautiful woman, what are your
Mm.
thoughts? Be honest with yourself. Remember, you're going to forgive yourself for those thoughts. You're going to love yourself, accept yourself, so that you
Mm.
can notice and shift it. So you
Yeah.
notice and you say, I love you, little me. I spell it, little,
Mm.
the scared me is M-E, but the sacred me
Yeah.
is little m, big E, because big
Yeah.
E is eternal essential energy. So
Yeah.
bring
Yeah.
the
I named
big
my voice
me.
inside my head Lizzie. So when Lizzie's being bad, I'd be like, shush, Lizzie.
Oh, say, love you, Lizzie. Next.
When Lizzie's being bad. Like, love you, Lizzie. Time to be quiet. It's like,
That's right. That's right. That's right.
but so okay, so when they take these programs and they get rid of the initial blocks, okay,
Yeah.
there's this thing where we move to next level, new devil, right? Is this like a repeatable program that they can keep going through every single time a block comes through?
So the uniqueness of this program is that there are
Mm.
over 300 hours recorded healing on
Oh
any
wow.
topic that you can access. That's a part of your membership. And
Mm.
and then you have twice a month I do live where you bring your new issues in and we clear them.
Mm.
And
Mm.
it's like I tell people in real estate, because that's the background that
Mm.
everybody's familiar with. Your first problem is
Mm.
I have no clients. Your second problem is I have
Mm.
too many clients. So you just want, life is not about avoiding problems.
Yeah.
It's about upgrading the problem that you have to a higher
Yeah.
solution. So,
Yeah.
it's a great, it's because what is the number third problem?
Mm.
I have so much money, I don't know what to do with it. That's a great
Mm.
problem. We don't want
Yeah.
to resolve it. We want to keep solving it, right? Not every
Yeah.
problem is meant to be resolved. So let's all have a
Yeah.
problem not knowing what to do with the money. We can learn. Yeah.
Yeah, and I love too that you said earlier you're going to a higher level of consciousness, because that's like a miss factor for a lot of people in that thinking. It's like, I love the analogy I saw in a webinar once. Okay, so you're on a street level at the same address, okay, and all you can see is all these high-rise buildings going past you, okay, and the cars and stuff. You go to the 20th floor of that high-rise building, look how much more you can see,
Yeah.
right? And that's where like the solutions open up, and that's where these trainings help. Whereas now, okay, now I've gone from here and can't solving my problem to here and be like, okay, bye problem, and then we go to the next level of thinking, right? Is that my
I love
understanding of
it.
that?
I love
Yeah.
it. It's changing the perspective is one of the very important things in that
Mm.
whole process. You change the perspective, and then
Mm.
you develop skills to maintain a new perspective. Because a lot of us are doing this. There is a universal law of rhythm, and so I tell
Yeah.
people we all will be doing this as long as we change the amplitude and the
Mm.
direction. Because a
Yeah.
lot of us are doing this.
No, we don't want to go there. Like, stay up.
Yeah, and that's why a lot of people lose their success position, because they'll get to a certain level of success and they
Mm.
run into what the success
Mm.
self-sabotage is. Last month I did an amazing program on tipping
Yeah.
into, tapping out of, and changing the self-sabotage, because a lot
Mm.
of us feel I'm happy in one area, I must sabotage another, because heaven forbid I'll be equally happy in all areas.
Yeah.
And it's a very deep common conscious psyche that you can only quote unquote get ahead somewhere else. The whole idea of
Mm.
getting ahead is a poisonous combination. You want to expand
Mm.
equally, because
Yeah.
getting ahead means you're leaving something or someone behind.
Mm-hmm. So
So
you're
that
helping them to change their identity too, right? Because what you
yes,
have on the inside is what you have on the outside.
very
So
much so.
is
Yeah.
that's probably why when you see lottery winners, a lot of them end up broke again within a few years, right? Because their identity inside didn't change. They just got a cash
Yeah.
load or a buttload of money
Yeah.
handed to them, and they didn't know what to do with it, but they had to maintain their identity internally. So,
And to go with that great observation you've made, is that the
mm.
formula I give for success it's very simple. It's mindset times skill set times effort. That's what equals
Mm.
results. So you can't, there's a lot of work on mindset, true, but if your skill set is zero or if your effort is zero, you can have
Mm.
a guru mindset. On the other
Mm.
hand, when you get the skill set, meaning the money is given
Mm.
to you, but your mindset
Mm.
is zero, you
Mm.
still end up with zero. For those people that are like
Mm.
myself, are spiritual, I then take that and I multiply it times God, because then the results equals times infinity. But it's our choice. Our results only are infinite results, and I think you do have to tap into infinite power for infinite results. But the formula stays true. So
yes, and when she says tapping into, that doesn't mean we just go and we pray and stuff to God and things like are handed to us. We have to, like she said, get off our ass.
Move your ass, and then move your ass. This is as spiritual as it gets.
Right? Well, it's because I see so many people that are like, just like meditate it, bring it into your life. Like no, you actually have to then like put one foot in front of the other and go do the action steps.
Yeah, because that's it. They're expanding their mindset, and that's wonderful. And I'm for it, but you got to get the skill set and you got to get the effort. So look at your life honestly, and if in any area of your life you feel like you're stuck, one of those is a very low quotient.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so one last question before I ask where people can find you and stuff. So I know we've been talking about spiritual and God and everything. So for those that are interested in your program but don't necessarily like believe in God, maybe they're Buddhist or Shaivism or like some other denomination, is this program still for them?
Yes. So God is great overall designer, however you decide for that to be. And so I refer in my programs to God as creator, and I have people from 90 countries.
Okay,
and we have every single faith path and every single denomination represented in my group. I do not have agnostics because you do have to believe that there's something in addition to just the physical you that moves you, that breathes you. However you define that is going to be up to you. But absolutely, everybody is welcome.
Okay, just wanted to clarify that because I know someone's going to ask.
Great question. A great question.
This is like so like I'm like so pumped up now. I've been loving this chat. Where can people find you after this airs? Is it best to find you on Instagram? Is it best to find you on your website? What's the best route to
I think the best place where we kind of migrate all the information to is my website, which is you2shine.com with Y. So it's YU2shine.com. That's where the free meditation from scared to sacred is. There are links to a lot of free information. And that's where the Information Quantum Freedom Group is, and pretty much on everything that we offer. And we do offer a lot of complimentary stuff that I always invite people to explore as well. So
that's incredible. Okay. And I'll make sure to drop that link below this video so you guys can just easily go and click on it. And then, just get in touch with Victoria, take her free programs and expand your horizons because it is so worth it. And if you haven't tried it out yet, I highly recommend it, coming from somebody personally who has started to expand her horizons. So.
Beautiful, Jan. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Victoria, for being here. I really, really appreciate it. This has been such a pleasure, honestly, chatting with you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. This has been a blast, really.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. Bye, everybody. My name is Jen Gardner. I am here with Sally Gimon. Loan against your insurance policy. Is that my understanding?
Correct. So your money stays in the policy. The down payment on a house in 8 years. And at age 50, he's going to retire and you have $5,000 a month coming into him.
Clean insurance plan as much as it is a savings plan. Is that?
It is an insurance plan. I actually had somebody in an Amazon factory lie on the cement floor to take his EKG. I'm like, I don't think I want to do that. So, but he did it at lunchtime at Amazon.
That's really funny.
Giving me a voice, so thank you.
I appreciate you being here and opening my eyes as well as other people's eyes to this option because I wasn't aware of this either.